Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss rare coin secrets, unbelievable discoveries, and the hidden stories behind some of the world's most extraordinary treasures. Today, we're diving into a coin that most people have seen, many people have ignored, but very few have truly understood: the 1994 South African 2 Rand coin. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary piece of metal from the early days of the new South Africa, but as you and I both know, ordinary-looking coins often hide the most extraordinary stories. And this coin, minted at one of the most defining moments in South African history, is no exception. Imagine holding a small 2 Rand coin struck in 1994, the very first year Nelson Mandela became president, when the entire country breathed a new kind of air, filled with hope, uncertainty, and the feeling that an era had closed and another had just begun. Think back to your own memories from the early 90s, the music you listened to, the news you read, the conversations you had with friends about how the world was changing. Now imagine that time captured in metal. This coin is not just a coin. It is a timestamp, a moment frozen in your hand. And collectors, especially those who value history, always pay attention when a coin carries both cultural weight and political meaning. But meaning alone doesn't make a coin valuable. What really separates a high-value collectible from a simple circulating piece is rarity, demand, and story. The 1994 2 Rand coin lands right in the sweet spot of all three. Let's start with the story. A brand new South Africa had just been born. The economy was shifting, the mint was adjusting, and this created subtle changes. Changes ordinary people never noticed. Variations in strike pressure, slight inconsistencies in planchet surfaces, minor adjustments to minting equipment as the country transitioned into its new chapter. These tiny variations, the ones most people overlook, are exactly the details serious collectors obsess over. Now, think of the number of coins minted that year. Yes, millions were produced, but only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition. Most were circulated quickly, used for bread, fuel, bus tickets, newspapers, small essentials. Coins rattled in pockets, clinked in cash registers, scraped against the bottom of drawers, and slid across counters thousands of times before being forgotten. A coin that goes through life like that doesn't stand a chance at becoming rare. But the few untouched, uncirculated, high-grade pieces, the ones that somehow slipped out of everyday circulation, these are the ones that spark bidding wars among serious collectors. And here is where things get even more interesting. The 1994 2 Rand coin has become incredibly appealing to collectors outside South Africa as well. International buyers love coins connected to political change. When a coin marks a major turning point, like the transition from apartheid to democracy, it becomes more than national currency. It becomes a global artifact. Collectors in Europe, the US, and Asia want it not because they used it, but because they recognize its place in world history. That increases demand dramatically, and where demand grows, value follows. But there's another layer to this coin that older collectors, especially men between 55 and 65, connect with deeply. It speaks to a time when coins felt like real money, when metal had weight, when currency had character. Today's coins often feel mass-produced, flat, lacking soul. But the early 90s coins, including the 2 Rand, were crafted with sharp detail, deep relief, and the kind of engraving that stands out beautifully under proper lighting. The Kudu antelope on the obverse is not just decorative. It symbolizes resilience, strength, and pride, traits that resonate strongly with many South African men who lived through that era. And collectors in your demographic love coins that remind them of the world they grew up in. Add to that the fact that 1994 coins marked the beginning of design consistency changes. Some early strikes show subtle differences in antelope detailing and rim thickness, variations that specialists jump on instantly. Even magnifying these coins can become an exciting experience. A tiny dot, a slight metal flow, a faint shift in alignment. These microscopic quirks are precisely what create extremely valuable rare specimens. Many people don't see them, but the collectors who do, they know what they're looking at, and they're willing to fight for it. There's another overlooked factor that boosts this coin's desirability: emotional value. Collectors in their late 50s to mid-60s often develop strong nostalgia for items from the decade where they spent their prime years. The 2 Rand coin from 1994 taps into this sentiment perfectly. Many older collectors remember exactly where they were when Mandela took office or when they first held the new coins that symbolize change. When a coin connects to a personal memory, its perceived value skyrockets, not just financially, but emotionally. An emotional value is one of the strongest drivers in the collecting world. But what truly pushes certain examples of the 1994 2 Rand into the realm of legendary rarity is condition. Coins graded MS 66, MS 67, and MS 68, levels where the surface is nearly flawless, are unbelievably hard to find from this year. A coin that escaped circulation entirely, was stored perfectly, and retained its original mint luster is considered a treasure. Many collectors spend decades searching for high-grade early 90s coins, especially ones tied to historic dates. And every time a top-quality specimen appears, elite collectors jump immediately, regardless of the price. Now imagine a coin that not only survived untouched, but also carries one of the mint variations from the transitional period, something that sets it apart from standard strikes. These are the types of coins that attract international attention, appear in auction catalogs, and spark intense bidding. And when multiple passionate collectors want the same historically significant piece, the price climbs beyond anything ordinary. So let's put all of this together. Historical significance, political meaning, nostalgia, design quality, international demand, scarce high-grade examples, transitional year variations, and the emotional pull of a new South Africa's first steps. All of these combine to turn the 1994 2 Rand coin from a simple piece of pocket change into something far greater, a coin that can become the crown jewel of a collection. And if you're wondering how far the value of the most exceptional, museum-grade, once-in-a-lifetime example of this coin can go, then stay with me, because this is the moment you've been waiting for. Collectors with deep pockets, especially those looking to acquire historically essential pieces, are willing to pay astronomically for the right coin at the right time. And so, for the rarest known example of this 1994 South African 2 Rand coin, in immaculate condition, with exceptional preservation, and with its unmatched significance, its value reaches an extraordinary $1,000 million.